Hey guys! So today I'm going to talk to you about Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld. I ended up picking up the book right after I finished my reading list video and I could not put it down. If you saw anything that I put on Twitter, you already know that I loved this novel. So if you want to see the reasons why I really liked it, then let's get to the review. Alright, so first things first, here is a synopsis of the novel. Okay, so the first story is the story of Darcy Patel. She is an 18-year-old girl who, on a whim, decided to see what would happen if she wrote 2,000 words a day every day for a month. In the end, she ended up writing the novel Afterworlds, which she sent off to a publisher and ended up getting a book deal for. Darcy's chapters focus on her life during the year she's living in New York, doing rewrites, falling in love, and just generally figuring out how to adult. The second story is Darcy's novel Afterworlds, which tells the story of Lizzie Schofield? I don't know how to pronounce that. I'll write it here. In her story, she quite literally thinks her way into the afterworld to survive a terrorist attack. And in doing so, she gains the ability to essentially cross over into the afterlife, and she can also see and talk to ghosts. That's the basic gist of the novel. You get both stories. You have Darcy living life in the real world, and then Lizzie going through her fantasy world. I'm going to split the review and talking about it in terms of the two novels first. So first I will talk about Lizzies. I really liked how this story felt like an author's first novel. It was a little messy, the plot wasn't perfect, some parts were rushed, and all of that together made it as perfect as it could be. Because Lizzie's story is written by Darcy. You know, she's 18, she wrote it when she was 17. She's never written anything like this before, so it really is a very first novel, and she hasn't really learned entirely how to write as well as she can yet. It also reminded me a little bit of the Midnighters novels by Scott Westerfeld. I don't really know why, because they're not similar at all. I think it might just be the paranormal stuff and the fact that it was written by the same author. These are also really good. I might do a reread series of these just because I really like them. I mean, you can see how worn it is, kind of, maybe. There's a lot of glare. No, but yeah, it's really worn. Great books. That's the actual novel of Afterworlds. Really good, really like beginning level YA, kind of cheesy, not perfect, but still very enjoyable. I also really liked the plot twist that it had. I wasn't expecting that to happen, or I wasn't expecting Lizzie to go down the path she did. So that was really good. So I mean, that's what I mean. It's one of those things that has really good potential and is just enjoyable. So on to Darcy's story. I really liked it. I think I liked her part of the story more than I did Lizzie's. Her story just seems so real. And she's only 18, she's insecure, she's scared. She is at that point in her life where she wants to make the most of it, but she doesn't know who she is, and she's trying to figure that out by reinventing herself, and all of that is so beautifully captured. I feel like at her core, she is a character that is very relatable, especially to readers that are at that same stage in life where, you know, they're just out of high school, they don't know who they are yet, and they kind of have to grow up and do things with their life. Even if, you know, that thing isn't trying to navigate life and publish their first novel at the same time, they can still identify with the part of her that is universally trying to, you know, figure out who she is. I also really liked all of the side characters. As usual, I love, you know, supporting characters. They're almost always my favorites. They were all very likable, very easy to picture as Darcy saw them, because Darcy's chapters are third person, but they are in her point of view. I also really like how Darcy's parts made it seem that it was okay to not have everything figured out yet, and to just kind of live your life in the moment, especially when you are only 18, you know, you're still a kid. You don't have to have everything figured out yet, and it's okay to just figure things out by trial and error. This novel as a whole was also incredibly refreshing in that one of the main protagonists, Darcy, she's not white and she's not straight. I feel like having a character like that, who is like so many readers that don't get that sort of representation very often, is just really, really amazing. And it was inserted into the story, but it wasn't her entire character. And I feel like that's important because there's a lot more to people than just their race or, you know, their orientation. But yeah, it was just really, really refreshing to have that in a novel, both because of, you know, that sort of representation is needed, and that it was just different than a lot of other novels. So more on the novel as a whole. I love the way that the two stories were woven together, because you can see the parallels between Darcy's life and things that happen in Lizzie's story. And I feel that is very real to how novels are written a lot of times. Parts are inspired by things that the authors see, things that they do, people they meet, what things they experience, things like that. And even though I love the way it was written and I love the dual stories, I would have been really happy with these two stories being standalone on their own, mostly because I really want to read the sequel to Afterworlds, because I'm very curious as to what happens in Lizzie's story. So Scott Westerfeld, if you want to write under a pen name of Darcy Patel, go for it, because I feel like a lot of people would be down for that. They would read more of Lizzie's story. I mean, I know I would read more of Lizzie's story. As I said before, I absolutely love this novel. Both stories were very engaging, very well written, and it's just a testament to how well Scott Westerfeld can actually write, because he really did write as two authors in this novel. He wrote as himself and then as his character. He wrote a full-length novel as his character, and I feel that is a skill that not a lot of authors have, and if they do have it, not a lot of them show it. I think you should definitely pick this one up. It is on my list of forever favorites. That wraps this one up. As always, links to everything will be in the description, and I will see you guys next time. Okay,